New tonight, multiple members of the Holocaust Memorial Council, including former Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, were dismissed this week by the Trump administration. The members dismissed were appointed by former President Biden. Emhoff, who is Jewish, released a statement saying politicizing the Holocaust dishonors the memory of the 6 million Jews who were murdered by Nazis. The White House says President Trump will appoint new people to that board. We wanted to go in depth on these changes that the Trump administration has made to the board at the Holocaust Museum. Joining us for that conversation is Ron Halber, CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington. Ron, it's good to have you joining me today. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
We got a lot of ground to cover. I was curious, what was your initial reaction when you learned that Doug Emhoff and other trustees had been removed from the board?
I think the original reaction from our organization is how unfortunate it was that an institution that by definition their mission is nonpartisan and educational and devoted to commemorating the loss of 6 million Jews and explaining what can happen when hatred and bigotry run amok, were dismissed in what seemed to be such a political manner. I mean, you couldn't find a less political facility than the Holocaust Museum, and the dismissal of all these former Biden White House officials gave it an air of politicization, which I think creates an unnecessary atmosphere around the museum.
I'm curious, have you received any explanation or communication from the Trump campaign or any affiliated officials regarding why these individuals were removed?
Well, I'm assuming they were removed simply because they were Biden. I mean, they all have something in common. They were all Biden White House officials or supportive of the president, of the former president. No one is questioning whether Trump has the right to remove these officials. He does. The question is, do you use that power? And using that power is actually is going against the norms. Past presidents have gone ahead and replaced the chairperson and provided their own people to the board when their terms come up, but they've never gone ahead and fired a slew they've never gone ahead and fired a whole group of members simply because they were involved in the other political party, and that risks politicizing the museum, which is by definition nonpartisan and educational.
Well, on that note, when you talk about the politicization, how could these dismissals impact the public's overall perception of the museum's neutrality and even the educational mission?
Well, that's what I'm worried about. And I'm concerned that the museum has always had folks from both parties, Jews, non-Jews, very prominent individuals from the community, elected officials, and by definition, they have a 5-year term to avoid partisanship. So I'm concerned that the just arbitrary firing of all these former Biden officials will cast a negative effect and could make the museum, people could take it out on the museum. We don't want that. The museum is an American treasure. It's one of the most visited federal facilities in Washington where people come. It's served millions have come, and its lessons are so permanent and so vital, especially in today's era. And when there's so much polarization and hatred in the atmosphere, the role and the importance of the museum is more important than ever, and therefore to cast any political clouds over the museum is not a good thing. And I wish the president would rescind those people and reinstate those people that he dismissed.
All right. Ron Halber, CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington. Appreciate the conversation, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for your time today.